Hello and welcome to our latest edition of Oxwide, rounding up all the news from around the Trust. So straight on to our first film, and April has been an exciting time for our prison services as we welcome over 250 new staff members who have joined us to help provide integrated healthcare services at 6 prisons in Kent. Theresa May recently visited HMP Elmley on the Isle of Sheppey to meet some of them.
So today we are at Elmley Prison. So we are really excited to be here today, and it's the first day we have the opportunity to meet all the staff who's TOP over to Oxleas. So generally I think there's a nice buzz in the room. There's been quite a nice buzz in the room in terms of staff's quite excited.
Exciting times for prison services then in Kent.
Absolutely exciting times. We secured the contract about 6 months ago. I think it was about September we found out, and we went live on Friday. All 6 prisons across Kent. So yes, very exciting times. New staff, new managers, new services really. We will be delivering integrated healthcare across all 6 services in Kent.
There's a few anxieties, of course, with any new provider coming in, and we're working really hard to try and answer a lot of their questions. So it's really good that we've got HR here today and finance and our head of nursing, because we've got a lot of questions around future development. So it's really good that Chris Naiken's here with us as well, that can talk about some great work that's going to happen with our HCAs particularly.
And I think the presentation this morning captures some of our values quite well about what Oxleas is about, and I think some of the staff talk about how excited they feel to be part of Oxleas. Oxleas is probably the leading provider into prison healthcare these days. Everyone seems to have heard about Oxleas because we seem to be everywhere. Wandsworth, Greenwich Clusters and Kent. So generally there's quite a good buzz about being part of Oxleas as a health organisation.
We spent the last 6 months planning, looking at our mobilisation plans to actually take over on the 1st of April. So we've had a team of people working really hard, recruiting, working with our subcontractors, drawing up contracts, looking at prisons, and really sort of looking to ensure that we providing the best care possible for the men and the women that we will be looking after.
Natalie, what are you looking forward to most in your new role?
I think it's the freshness of the service and starting having the ability to start from scratch with something, bringing in new staff, teaching, training current staff, new equipment potentially, and bringing up the standards to Oxleas is also something that I'm really looking forward to as well.
So how do you feel about coming across to Oxleas? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to coming back over to the NHS, obviously, and getting some really good working down in our department. Some really good care.
And what about working in the prison environment?
So I'm quite new to the prison environment. So I initially come from the community. So I've been here just coming up a year and a half. So yeah, always challenging, but exciting to work in.
I'm really looking forward to working with each and every person that has joined us here today and working with all of the services that came to us on the 1st of April. It's really new, it's really exciting, and it's a bit challenging as well, but it's so much to look forward to moving forward in Kent prisons.
Why prison nursing?
Interesting. Everyone that comes into prison, the feedback we get given is that it's a bit of everything. It's a bit of community mental health nursing, acute mental health nursing. We've got community primary care nursing and acute primary care nursing. We've got emergency response work. We've also got long-term condition clinics. So it's really a bit of everything, and you can experience every avenue of health and support them down here with every part of their health and wellbeing. We've also got clinical substance misuse as well, which is going to be a great addition to the health and wellbeing model. Prison nursing, it's like a jack of all trades, and we're going to get everyone to be a master of all of them as well.
Certainly from staff that we've spoken to today that are coming into Oxleas, one of the things they are excited about is that we look after our staff.
Yes.
And that they get support.
Yes.
And you're key to that.
Yes, yeah, and others as well. You know, I mean, it's a very strong message. If people are picking that up, that's really good. You know, our challenge is to sustain it. And I think that I've been around Oxleas long enough to know that Oxleas doesn't normally say it's going to do something unless it's willing to see that through. But I'm aware that, you know, in Greenwich prisons, we recently appointed a Band 7 specifically targeted to the health and well-being of the staff. And that's like, whoa, you know, so, you know, the organisation is definitely thinking along the right directions.
We have now appointed our first ever recruiter in Oxleas, and we're looking at working with this person to attract and develop some really good opportunities for the local people, and that could be technicians, it could be nursing associates, it could be any profession you could think about, but we're really going to focus on growing our own, but also for people who are interested in working for us, how we attract them back to Oxleas within the Kent prisons.
Give it a go. You don't know until you tried it. Just have one shift. It's like Marmite. You will love it or you will hate it. Majority do love it, so just give it a go.
Thank you.
So cheesy.
Oh.
Thank you, and we warmly welcome everyone who has joined us here at Oxleas. We hope that you find your time with us very rewarding. On to our next film, and you may recall, on a previous Oxwide webcast, we featured Louise Orton, a mental health nurse at Rochester Prison, who was looking forward to making her professional boxing debut. Unfortunately, for various COVID-related reasons, her bout was postponed not once, but twice. But thankfully, Louise finally made her debut earlier this year and won in style. We caught up with Louise during her training at her London gym, and she spoke about the challenges of balancing two very difficult jobs.
My name's Louise Orton. I'm a mental health nurse at HMP Rochester 3 days a week, and I'm a professional boxer full-time. I actually made my debut on 4th of March at Tower Hotel in London, and it went really well. So we had a game plan, we stuck to it. It was the first fight for over 3 years. So we had a basic game plan, keep it simple, don't get involved in anything, don't have a war, don't get cut, don't get stopped, and yeah, just keep it basic and simple, and it worked well. Prior to pro boxing, obviously I did amateur boxing. A lot of people think that it's very similar and that you can just transfer straight over. It's not similar really at all. The footwork's different, the pace is different, the way you throw your shots is different. So the pro boxing, I say, is probably slower, but the shots are heavier. Whereas in amateur boxing, it's all about point scoring, whereas in pro boxing, it's not about that. So yeah, there is quite a lot of differences rather than similarities.
She can box so well like this, trains so hard, and yet has this really demanding job as a mental health nurse and forensic scientist, basically, and works in prisons, male prisons, and it's incredible, really, how you manage to combine this career with a career as tough as that.
So trying to balance, obviously, pro boxing as well as working as a mental health nurse. If I'm honest, it's tremendously difficult. So professional boxing is a full-time career in itself. So you train twice, sometimes 3 times a day. Trying to then work on top of that as well in between is difficult. And it's not like I've got a job where I can kind of go home at the end of the day and just not think about it. My job is very stressful. You're dealing with people's kind of mental health problems all day, every day, in a prison environment as well. So there's a lot of kind of behavioural problems as well. Boxing, if I'm honest, when you first start out, it's an expensive sport. And a lot of the time when you first start out, you end up in a loss. So sponsorship, whether you start at the beginning or as you're kind of like coming up to a world title fight, sponsorship makes all the difference because it helps financially to kind of replace what you're having to work for. So anyone interested in sponsoring me, please get in touch because it's going to help me massively to kind of be on the road to world champion. So boxing is unreal in terms of like the fitness that you do. It's a full body workout, and I mean for the mind as well. It's a place for me to escape everything. And when I'm here and kind of getting out that aggression, getting out that anger, if I've had a really stressful day, when I leave the boxing gym I feel fine. And it keeps you fit, it keeps you healthy. I love going for a run. Running obviously is a massive part of my training. And every day when I go for a run, I literally just put my headphones in and listen to the music and just kind of escape. So it definitely is good for mind and body. And it keeps you healthy as well. You'll be surprised the amount of people in boxing that come from kind of different backgrounds. You'll find obviously that the standard person in boxing has come from a troubled background, but then you get some people that are kind of quite well-to-do, well-educated, well-spoken, and they're the most calmest, softest people. But get them in the boxing ring and it's like they've been possessed. So this is Bella. She's the gym dog, aren't you, Bella? Yeah, this is the gym puppy, the little mascot for Churchill's Boxing. You're lovely. What's that?
Thank you to Louise and everyone at Churchill's Gym for letting us bring our cameras along. Louise was originally due to have her second fight in a couple of weeks, but unfortunately this has now been delayed until July. We wish her the very best of luck in her next contest. Now, April is Stress Awareness Month, and as part of the celebrations, our Mental Health Staff Network will be holding an event for colleagues this coming Thursday. Lisa Tan met the network's chair, Kelli Rush, to find out more about the event.
So April is Stress Awareness Month. Can you tell us what the Mental Health Staff Network are doing to mark that occasion?
We've got an event on the 28th of April, which is Thursday next week, between 10 a.m. and 11:30. And we're having our focus on the stress awareness part will be around news anxiety, something that a lot of people have shared that they're finding difficult with the pandemic first of all, and now more recently with the situation in Ukraine and the cost of living. And I think the difficulty is where you've got 24-hour news feeds and constant pop-ups on your phone and news alerts, and it's people are finding it really difficult to manage that. So we're going to have a bit of a session on ways to manage, things you can do to improve the situation, and just hopefully kind of try and put it in its box and not let it overwhelm people. This is open to all staff, this particular event, because we're combining it with our AGM. So that means that it's going to be a trust-wide event and anybody can attend. So if people want to contact me by email, send me an email, and I can book you on to the event.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the staff network and who it's for and its purpose?
We've created the Mental Health Staff Network to provide a place for support, a safe space, somewhere where people can come along and kind of get to know each other and support each other around all types of mental health issues. So, it could be anxiety and depression that's come from, the tough situation we've been in the pandemic, or it could be a long-standing diagnosis or a new diagnosis. We also cater for carers as well. We have quite a lot of members who are carers and looking after somebody that has mental health difficulties. So we just want to create this safe space for everyone to come forward, get involved, share your ideas, tell us the kinds of things that are bothering you day to day, the things that could be improved for you, and kind of all come together and see what changes we can make within the trust.
So it's one of the elements really of our staff wellbeing package, just to make sure that all these things are covered for people.
That's
and they
right.
have somewhere to go.
Very much along the wellbeing and recovery kind of pathway in that sense. Also, we work quite closely with the Building a Fairer Oxleas project. So we're being very well supported by Clare Evans, Karen Edmonds, who are running the Building a Fairer Oxleas, and there's a set section of things that will be happening over the coming year around supporting people with mental health in the workplace. And the other thing that's really important and is one of my pet likes to work on is stigma and challenging stigma about mental illness and mental health difficulties, particularly in the workplace. I think stigma can be so damaging, not only when you are being stigmatised, but if you internalise those thoughts and feelings, you then begin to self-stigmatise. So it's this double whammy, and it's how do we help people kind of, become aware of the things that are happening to them, and perhaps, get support from other people that have been there and find our way through it together, really.
So if we want to find out more about the network, how you could join and get some more information, what do we do?
We've got a page on the Ox, a web page on the Ox, so people can come along there, find more information about the network, and there's an application form on the website if people want to join the network. So we look forward to receiving any applications from people. But otherwise, people can just contact me by email if they want to have a chat about whether they think this is something that's useful for them or fits in with, what they think and feel around this. We are making good connections. We've got 68 members, which we're very pleased to have as we're only a year old. It's our first birthday this month. And we've been working collaboratively with the other staff networks at Oxleas. We also do work with the other staff networks across the South London Partnership. We've had phenomenal support from the board and executives at Oxleas to get things off the ground, so we're really, really pleased. This is our first birthday, and now this is where everything's going to begin, and we've got fantastic plans coming up over the rest of this year and into next year. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that, and we'd love people to come and join us. Please do come and join us.
Thank you, Kelli and Lisa, and we hope that you can find the time to join the network for this great event. And finally, we have recently launched a new scheme aimed at graduates who are interested in a career in mental health. Rachel Evans brings us more details about the graduate scheme in this short film.
This is a new scheme that we're launching for graduates to join us as trainee mental health practitioners. It's an opportunity to join the NHS and make a real difference to people's lives. We know that the pandemic has had a huge impact on people's health, and we're looking for bright and talented people to join us and make a difference. So, who can apply? We're looking for people who are about to graduate or who have recently graduated, and in any discipline. Most of all, we want people who are really passionate about improving people's mental health. Might be people who are interested in pursuing further postgraduate study at some point, or who are interested in pursuing clinical training. But we want people with really good people skills and who are able to communicate and write really well. So we've got a range of roles that provide really fantastic development opportunities for you and to enable you to use some of those skills that you developed during your undergraduate study. They are all roles that will involve working directly with NHS clinicians and also with our patients, and where you can really make a difference to those people's lives. The scheme is a 2-year scheme, and during that time, during those 2 years, you will have access to really good training, supervision from your colleagues, buddying from members of the senior team, and we will make sure that at the end of that time you are supported into finding a permanent role. This is a really rewarding opportunity, and we will do everything we can to make sure that you get the very best out of it. There's lots of information on the Oxleas website about how to apply and about any webinars that are coming up. This is a great place to work. We'll support you, we'll nurture you, and we'll make sure that you feel part of the fantastic Oxleas family.
And that's all for this edition of Oxwide. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, goodbye.